my Zentangle friends. My name is Emmy, and you are on the Zen with Emmy channel. I am a CZT, which means I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, which means I went to Rhode Island and studied because I love teaching and I love doing things with quality, and that's what you and I are and what we have. I've grabbed my supplies. I also put all the information on the beginning of our video together. So I want to take a little bit of time to show you where we're going. I've got a 4x4 or 10 centimeters, and we're going to do some leaf lines today because this is the month of September, and we're not going to have a lot of time. I don't exactly know what October will bring, but I know it's going to bring Inktober. And then November will bring Gratitangles, I hope. Anyway, I'm so looking forward to this month with you of doing all things and exploring fall together. So without any further ado, let's get started with setting up our tile. I'm going to start like I do, or like Zentangle teaches us, with dots in the corner. And then I'm going to connect them, and I would call this very much wonky style, which means to say that they're not meant to be perfect, using pencil, of course. Just relax and enjoy this opportunity we have together. Now, to create the leaf lines, I want to go wall to wall on this. So I'm going to start by dividing my side in half, and then I'm going to divide it in quarters, top and bottom. And in order to have this really work out into my happiness, I'm going to have to divide below the 1/2. I'm going to have to divide this side, and above the 1/2, I'm going to have to divide that side. And you don't have to do this, but I just think that this leaf lines will lay out better if you do. So dividing on the other side, first thing I'm going to do is divide it in half. Divide the side in quarters, and then I'm going to divide this half in a quarter, and I'm going to divide this half in a quarter. Now that's all approximate, but it still is very likely to be just fine for our purposes. And I want to have a bit of a wave, or not a straight line, although you certainly can. But I want to have a little bit of an angle here. So you see how I'm just kind of doing this mentally first? Just kind of air drawing before I get started. And I think that looks pretty good. I will ink over this, draw over this. My aim is for here on this one and here. And I'm going to try to make this where I make the turn to make it wider again. So the same kind of process. I don't have to do this, but I just think it looks cool. So that's what I'm doing now. You probably can hardly see that. So let's go ahead and ink it in if you're happy with it, and I'm happy with it. So, and I hope you're happy with yours. You see how I have doubled my lines. So I'm using my 0-1, and I want my hand to be as relaxed as it can be. That's why I'm turning this on its side like this to make this kind of this big C, or even I'd call it an hourglass shape. And my second aura line, and then let's go the other direction. I like to work from bottom to top, but you can work at your own place. Maybe you like to work from top to bottom. That's just fine. And make your second aura line. So with leaf lines, the word leaf line, to think of it, so you could practice this, but doing faux calligraphy is like this. I'm going to make the downstroke of the L, and then here's the rest of the L going straight. Now I'm going to start back at the top and make an aura line to the first one. Going to make leaf, make my E like this, and then make a stick along the back of it for only the downstroke. So you can make these as far apart or as close as you want. And I've already been practicing, so I feel pretty comfortable about starting with my leaf. That kind of really went wonky, and I like to really accentuate the S and have some fun with it. So the down is going to be doubled. The down is going to be doubled. And there I am. Now look it over. Are you happy with it? There's something you can do here that draws attention away from the fact that it's so wonky. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just putting these little tiny whiskers or sticks, dividing these up. It sure makes it more fun. Do this here again. Very fun. I love the way this looks. Now, as you can see, I have several pumpkins on the top. And this one is called Gorgeous. And this one has a name called Urchin. So we'll practice those. And here's our other one that it might be new to you, called Xander. So we're going to practice those three so that we can lay all of these fun things on here. So Urchin, like this. So in the past, you may or may not have done printemps, but printemps is around and around and around. And then what you're going to do is swing way out and reconnect. So I'm going to do a series of sticks inside on an angle. Allow that to just be your ribs of your pumpkin. How cute is this anyway? I just think it's darling. So the one I made was slightly different, and I went all the way around and then made my sides. Now, both of them are very good and very possible. Let's work on Gorgeous. That is one that may take a couple of extra practice times. Gorgeous is like this. I'm going to make a S line up and back, and then I'm going to bring it on down kind of tight to here. Kind of watch. Tight, and then swing out. And I could have swung out the other way too. It won't matter. Okay, coming back again, aura, out, back, and tight, reconnect. Let's do that again. I need to leave a little bit of a loop in here, so I don't want this to go too tight. Out. I need that little space. I hope you understood what I meant by that. And I'm going to make several. See how this is just coming from this region here? Then I'm going to do is swing out the other way. Several small strokes. Come way out. Just like a gourd. I tell you, when this works out, it is so cool. And the one I have it every other line I have done so that I can darken them. And we'll do that together. Okay, let's do Xander. Xander is a lot of fun as well. And let's do this on scrap paper. So it's very smart to start with pencil first. Make 2 long lines side by side. And you see that I've got 2 different ones for you. I'm going to use my pencil line. I'm going to come out and back and like pretend it goes behind like a safety pin, that the rest of the safety pin is underneath. Let's do this again. Out, back, and connect. So if you wanted, we will do a couple of these. And then in the middle, we're going to do this fun little hair. You could call it a hair thing, or it could be, maybe you'll want to have it be a haystack this fall for one of our things that we'll do together. Do you see how I've let my pen work real light and lift it up? And I've got them, I'm definitely allowing these to go in different directions. Fill this in as much as you like. Just have your basic ones and then fill in, fill in, fill in. Now you're going to tighten these, darken these, connect them like this. These 2 bands, connect them. And then you easily can do some shading on the top and the bottom. Definitely go over this a little and thicken it. And there's certainly more you can do with these bands too. If you look up Xander, you'll be amazed at all the ways you can do them. Do you see how I did this one here? Over and other. And so like this. Over, on an angle, and then back like an S. And then again over. And that's a very fun way to do this too. Anyway, choices are very fun. Okay, I think it's pretty smart to put our leaves in here first. And then I'm going to put my Xander in the middle. Now you can change this up however you like. And I'm definitely going to turn my work here. I'm going to have some giant leaves. Just a big C. And back here, and then a big C in the other direction. And then this is like a grouping of leaves that I've got going on. And then I'm going to make another one here. And then I think I'll make a few on this side too, below the rest of the leaf lines. That one is more like an S. But if you've practiced, I think you'll get the idea just fine. I'm not necessarily a fan of 3 and 3, so maybe I'll stick another one off here, out in that margin area, because I kind of like that better, and yeah, maybe I'll just leave these alone for a while. Okay, so I love them. I hope you love yours too. I'm going to make a wiggly wobbly vein down the middle of each of these. Wobbly wobbly. This is not a leaf that I can give you a pattern name for. I don't know if there is one. But if you were to do this differently, it would be a different pattern, obviously, in Zentangle world. So now what I'm going to do is put the veins in, and this is how I like to do it. I like to work from the middle, come up so that I'm darkening the middle as I go, and then alternate. So this is very much like a bit of an S. Follow the vein, take it off. Trying to alternate, not be precise. I think that nature is not precise, which is a comfort to me. And I hope to you. that Mary Poppins is not here. She is our friend, but she is not here. I feel like putting my Xander here in the middle. And I'm going to do that in pencil. So grab your pencil, and I'm going to put it like it's holding up the leaf lines. It's going to be fairly wide. So now you have a choice. You can go up and back, or you can just make the bands go out. And remember, you're going to be going behind here a bunch, which is why I did it this way. It's a lot more fun to think of things out of the box, a little bit different. There we go. So let's start filling these in now. I'll make a line that goes all the way through and all the way to the bottom. So I'm just going to get started with some basic lines, and then I'm going to let my pen do what it wants with this. So I'm saying to you, it might have some curlicues in it. Something like that. That might be a little different. I like lifting my pen and putting that little bit of sparkle here and there, crossing over these. I'm working very, very lightly. You can add as many as you want. You see how they're getting very wavy? Mine are. And that is very fun. Okay, this is going to be a hoot when we shade it. I love it already. I hope you do too. So let's add some pumpkins. So it doesn't matter where they go. I'm going to add a really tall one here. Because of that, I'm going to make myself a form. Otherwise, it's not going to be as tall as I'd like. And then I'd like to have one that kind of goes behind here. Not quite as tall. And then this one is going to have a little baby one almost here, wide. So that's just how mine is going. And then I'm going to have my gorgeous. Maybe I'll change this. Maybe this will end up gorgeous, and this will be a small pumpkin here. Wide little bugger. Let's see how that all works out. The gorgeous is the most important thing to me of this design. So I'm going to start with my gorgeous, come around like a shepherd's hook, come down, and make an S. Do it again. Come out, aura around. And now you're going to start branching off. So you want to leave that neck nice and tight. Hoo-hoo. The pen does what the pen wants, doesn't it? Have you noticed that? Ooh, that is really cool. I hope you like how yours is turning out too. So I'm going to have to fill in a little here. And then I want to go back and do a little bit of aura-ing between these wide bands that I have here. Because then I'll be able to darken these areas. Oh my gosh, I'm in love with this pattern. I hope you are too. So at this point, you are welcome to leave your gorgeous the way it is, or you can go ahead and darken every other one like I did here. And all I did is tried to make sure that I was on a curve with my leaving spaces. So I'm going to do that with you. Leave a little space. Stop and admire. Look at what you've done. Make sure you're happy with it. You can always add more darkening, more shaping along the way here, but it's pretty cool. I really think it's pretty cool. Okay, so let's do the one that is called Urchin. Let's add that one in here. And as I told you, I'm going to make mine a little different than the sample I showed you. I'm going to go round and round and round. And I'm going to tie off where I think the top should be. And then I'm going to come down on either side. And I've already laid out a mark so that I don't want this one's going to end up going behind. All of these lines are going to be on an angle. It's so cute. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy with this. Okay, this huge one that we've got. By the way, my pumpkins are all green now. They're not really just starting to orange up. Did you see how I just made a giant petal in there? And then I'm going to go tight from the bottom, wide, and tight back up again. If I do the other side right now, my work will be a lot more, this side will replicate the other side more than if I do all of them than all of them. Of course, that said, this is your choice. This is your project. But what a great one this would be to show your grandkids. You see I'm allowing a little indent here? And I want to go out of the lines on this one too. I have enough room to put a really cool stem on here and enough room to replicate one of my lines down here, one of my leaves. So I'm going to do that. I'm using the same muscle memory that I did before. Fun, isn't that cool? And I think maybe a little bit of a curlicue might be fun there, just thinking. Okay, so I have room for another small one that's going to look like this one. I'm going to need to add a little bit of a treatment in here. Little bit of hatching marks so that it's darkened closer to the top and closer to the bottom. Like it's sitting on something, which it is. Tee-hee. Just add the cross hatching. This baby does not have to be perfect. Maybe you'll add some fold lines here and there. Gosh, every time I think I'm done, I find that I add a lot more. Okay, so we've done 3 different kinds of pumpkins here. You could do whatever you want on this little bit. I think I want to do this one. I like that one a lot. This time I'm going to make it a little more oval. Oh my goodness, this is fun, this project we're doing together. And then put those ribs in. Okay, I would really like to put a border around the outside edge. And you can do whatever kind of a border you want. What I'm going to do is start in the corner like that, and then come along and let my pen wonk. And I'm going to do this twice. And here, I meant to take that all the way to the outside edge, because I really think that that has a look that I'm looking for here. And then make that corner kind of beveled. I have to lift my pen and go behind that pumpkin. Now let's go around one more time. Doesn't matter top or bottom. Oh my goodness, I love how this pattern turned out. You never know, but I love it. And I hope you do too. Let's get some shading on here ever so quickly. So as you know, I like to put all of my shading on first. One of the big places that I want to put shading on is around that printemps here. And around the top here, that's weird looking. This has to have shade in it too. Some whiskers. Otherwise, it's just strange looking. That's better. Okay, back to it. Put some shade right on top of that, of the whiskers that you did here, the hatching. Kind of make a double dark area. And I want it to be at the bottom here. And right here at the printemps. Yeah, these are so cute. Oh my goodness. And there's more I can do with this if I had time. If you just stay and play with me all day. But I imagine you have a life. And you don't want to play with me all day. Tee-hee. You see how I'm marking, I'm putting shading on the outside of that banner. And I want to put a lot of shade, a lot of darkening here on these Xander bands. I want them to really look like they're popping here. And this is my best way to do it. So I'd like to do something in the middle of each of the leaves. And where the leaves cross over Xander, behind there. I don't really feel like I need to do totally that, but you know, I might have enough just pencil lead that I can do that. So let's just see where that goes in a minute here. This one went over too, so I'm gonna do one side of it and grab your blender stump. Push. Now, anytime you find that your blender stump has too much shade, work with this, by the way. Work with this. Push it down. Push it up. Follow your lines that you already worked here. Push. Not to worry about the black too much. That will never show. It will just, it won't show. It makes it shiny. So don't worry too much about that. Oh my, this is every bit as pretty as I'd hoped for. I like to push this down and up. Do you see how I'm doing that? This is not good right here. I need to fix this. So the paper that I often use when I pull it off the shelf and cut a bunch ahead for myself is Bristol. And that's what this is. And it shades really, really, really pretty. But I always have to consider that it's going to require a little bit more. See how I'm pushing this down? I really need that white space in between. If I can't get it this way, I can easily get it another way. But I want to join these bands. It makes more sense to me to have them joined. Just that one area especially needs it. Oops. And if you want, you can easily, wow, that's pretty. You can go around the inside of this. Now remember the one I did for you before, the sample. I did little dots in it. I like the look of that. I like the look real well. So just decide what is interesting to you. What is most important now is to grab your finest pen, which my 005, and put your initials somewhere. If you have anything else, you can get rid of it. Any telltale lines that trouble you, they don't really trouble me, but I will get rid of them just because. And I have a nice big brush to get my little divots off with. Oh my goodness, isn't this pretty? Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week for more September Falls. Have a good week. Bye.